One second. So here. So basically, to combine sentence and fragment, you need a comma. To combine fragment and sentence, you need a comma, right?
Yeah.
To combine sentence and sentence, or to separate sentence and sentence, it's a full stop. If you try and do this, like sentence, comma, sentence, it will make you comma splice. You can't do
Yeah.
that. So then either it's sentence, full stop, sentence, but full stop is equivalent to semicolon. The only difference being if the first letter after full stop is capital and the first letter after semicolon is small.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we know fanboys make fragments. So sentence, comma, fanboy fragment. We know subordinating conjunctions sometimes make sentences, sometimes make fragments. Like things like however, or moreover usually make sentences. So if it's a sentence, you will either use a semicolon, you'll use a semicolon or a full stop. If it is a fragment, like words like though or although, which make a fragment, then you use a comma because it
Yeah.
makes it a fragment, right? And then of course participle is ing. So sentence, comma, participle fragment, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, and then between two similar choices, given grammar and punctuation stay the same, pick the shorter one.
Yeah.
ठीक है?
That's the standard.
Standard, yeah. Then sentences and fragments के बाद क्या है? I have to open the book and see यार, wait.
There's, I think, NC2C, no comma, two comma.
I know, but that's where that's what I'm trying to see. What chapter? In my, like, see, wait, I'll show you. Let me first open it. Where is my index here? Oh, here. So see, like when I do this, if I go to my downloads, if I go to whiteboards, then it's in Zoom. So I don't know what chapter to open for what. You're understanding. That's why I was looking like this is done according to chapter wise on my.
Yeah.
So I have to see the chapter list to see what I'm teaching you. So we started with sentences and fragments. We did combining and separating sentences. Then there's transition. That's continuous, contradictors, whatever, right? I'm not going to go
Yeah.
over that. But I'll start with essential and non-essential clause, which is right here. Or I can see this. So here, this is the one. Data. This is the one that I'm looking for. So rules for a non-essential clause, 2 commas, set off the non-essential clause by knocking off the phrase between 2 commas if the remaining sentence makes sense and the remaining sentence retains the same meaning as the original sentence, then this is a non-essential clause.
Yeah.
Okay? Then there's the NC2C rule, which is no comma, 2 comma rule. You can either say the person who discovered electricity, Mr. Edison, as in between 2 commas, was also a scientist, or the person who discovered electricity, Mr. Edison, was also a scientist without the comma. If the name of the
Yeah.
title appears in the middle of the sentence, the only time you use a 2 comma is when there is no reference to this. Like, after this, if I start with there are other inventors of telephone like Graham Bell, blah blah blah, then I'm not referring to Mr. Edison, so this can be non-essential. But if I'm referring, like, the person who discovered electricity, Mr. Edison, was also a scientist. He was supposed to be a dyslexic child as a student, whatever, so he is referring to Edison. In that case, it cannot be non-essential and will be no comma. So if there's a reference made, no comma. If there's no reference made, 2 commas. Okay? Then there is the THC rule, which is that hates comma rule. No comma before the word that, no comma after the word that, and no comma in place of the word that, which is right
Yeah.
here. Okay. Then what else is there here? Wait, let me see. Then non-essential clause में 2 commas is equal to 2 dashes is equal to 2 parentheses. It means you can put 2 commas here, or instead of 2 commas, you can put 2 dashes, or instead of 2 dashes, you can put parentheses open and closed. But they cannot be interchanged. Like a comma cannot be paired with a dash or a semicolon or sorry, parenthesis. It has to be same. Like they have to go in pairs. Okay. Then what else is there here? Let me see. Yet see kar liya. Okay, cool. This is fine. Now, wait, I'll close these whiteboards. See what is the next chapter. Yeah, I know it has stopped sharing. Then there is colons and dashes. No, additional comma, uses and misuses. Ye to easy hai. Okay. Cool. So additional comma, uses and misuses. So when to use a comma, usually if there is a list of 3 or more items, there will be a comma before the word and, like I like peaches, comma apples, comma and bananas. But if there are just 2 items, like Manav and Jay are going to watch a movie, right? Then there is no comma.
Yeah.
Okay. Then where else do you use a comma? This has never been tested. So usually comma is also used after words that are interchangeable, like adjectives, like she's a smart, comma intelligent girl. So you can also say she's an intelligent, comma smart girl. Okay, because they're interchangeable. And also after subordinating conjunctions like moreover, nonetheless, however, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And whereas
What's the Oxford and Harvard comma thing?
that comma before the word and is Oxford comma, also known as Harvard comma.
So, I mean, when do you use before and?
Here, see now. Whenever there's a list of 3 or more items, there'll be a word with comma before the word and.
Oh, okay. So you can't not put comma before and.
But if it's
Oh,
this, like Manav and Jay,
yeah.
then no. But if there's 3 or more items, then yes. Yes before a comma. Like if I say I like apples, comma, peach, comma, bananas, comma, and oranges. You're also
Yeah.
comma. 3 or more items, comma before the word and. 2 items or lesser, no comma before the word and.
Huh.
Okay? Then when not to use a comma. Before and after a preposition, you can't say I am dancing, comma on the floor, or I am dancing on, comma the floor. Stupid. Between adjective and noun, she's a beautiful, comma girl. You can't do that, right?
Easy.
Then between two adjectives, when the first modifies the second, you can't write I like retro, comma Bollywood music, because you like
Yeah.
the music that is both retro and Bollywood together. You don't like retro
Yeah.
music and Bollywood music. It's like saying I am with an Indian, comma National Congress. It's the same party, right?
Yeah.
Then between subject and verb, so I like, comma dancing every day. You can't do this. Between like this, like Veer, comma and Jay, you can't do that, right? So that's out. And you can, one second, why did I open Jayashree Periwal? I'm just trying to put 134. You cannot put comma before and after self words, with an exception of this. Why is this an exception? Because after this there is a fanboy, and fanboy makes it fragments. A sentence and fragment can be connected using a comma. But other than this exception, you can never put a comma before or after a self word.
Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah. What?
The next is colons and dashes. So, colons and dashes are equivalent. Wherever you can use a colon, you can use a dash. Usually, colon and dash are interchangeably used before a list. Like I like many fruits, and then you list the fruits. You can use a colon here, or you can use a dash here. But whenever you use words like such as or including, you shouldn't have a colon or a dash. You can just write I like many fruits, such as mangoes, apples, and oranges.
Okay.
Okay, this is incorrect. And then colons and dashes are also used when the second sentence is explaining the first one. Like for example, she's a very hardworking girl. She studies 10 hours a day. This is explaining why I'm calling her hardworking, right? She's a very hardworking girl. Dash, she studies 10 hours a day. A very hardworking girl. Full stop. She studies 10 hours a day. All three of them are correct. But colon and dash make more sense because I'm explaining why she's a very hardworking girl here.
Yeah, but it won't be capital, right?
After dash, no. Or colon also no. I just wrote it.
Yeah.
Mhm. 1 second. Huh? I'll close all whiteboards and open new ones. Then the next one is, yeah, colons and dashes. Then I think singular plural हो. Question mark तो मजाक ही है. Singular and plural here. Singular is without the S, plural is with the S or with the ES, right? For apostrophe or possessive, singular will always be apostrophe S, plural will always be S apostrophe. Of course, like anything else in grammar, this also has exceptions. So if
Yeah.
the singular noun is a proper noun ending in an S, then you can use S apostrophe. Like Chris's books or Tejas's report card, or even Shreyas's books, right? S
Yeah.
apostrophe aega because you are a proper, like your name is a proper noun and it ends in an S. And similarly with plural, if there is a plural that doesn't end in an S, then it's going to be S apostrophe S, like the mouse's whiskers, but the mice's whiskers, because mice is the plural of mouse but doesn't end in an S.
Yeah.
ठीक है? That is singular and plural. इसमें तो और कुछ है नहीं. Then next क्या है? Noun, pronoun. This is directly, you have to do it from here. There's noun, pronoun agreement. If it is singular and it's a thing, you'll use the word it or its. And if it's a plural thing, you'll use they, them, or their.
Yeah.
Okay? And if it's people, if it's singular, you'll use a person or people. And if it's plural, you'll use he, she, his, her, or they. Okay? And then one versus you, I think this is parallelism. If you're starting writing with one should do this, one should do this. You should continue
Yeah.
with one, or you can do it with you. Also, emphatic pronoun is again self pronoun. It should use the right pronoun for the right thing. Like, for example, if you read this, what has been criticized is the author's refusal to discuss her work publicly, not the quality of her work herself. Instead of herself, it's going to be itself because we're talking about the writing, not the person,
Yeah.
right? And then there cannot be any ambiguity. Like if I say Shreyas and Dheer are going out to watch a movie, he likes horror movies. Who's he? You don't know. It could be Shreyas, it could be Dheer. So you can't have ambiguity. Either you have to name
Yeah.
it or just say former letter, right? And then words like this, that, and the plural forms, these and those, should never be alone. It should always be after a noun, right? So this movie, that technology, though, these birds, you can't just write these, it's ambiguous. Okay? Then there is tada tada. It's all done. There's verb agreement and tense. Here the verb should agree with, I mean, the verb, this thing should agree with the noun, So if it's singular, it has to be singular. If it's plural, it has to be plural, right? Usually, singular, for this, you need this. Sorry, I missed a table which I need to show you. So as you can see, if your subject is singular, your auxiliary verb, which fall
Will be
in one
plural.
of these, is always going to be singular, but your main will be plural. And if your
Yeah.
subject is plural, your auxiliary is plural, and your main will be singular, right? At a time, they'll either test you on auxiliary or main. The best way to figure out what they're testing you on is using the 4-step process. Like if you look at this question here, the black widow spider has striking hourglass markings that makes it one of the most recognizable spiders in the US. So you ask the question, what makes it? You'll get the answer, which is the subject. So the red hourglass markings. Is marking singular, plural? It is plural. Is this
Yeah.
main or auxiliary? It is main. So this has to be singular. Make it based on the table, right? Ask the question word, figure out the subject, see if the subject is singular or plural, see if the verb is main or auxiliary, and get the right answer. Okay? This entire thing is that. Then gerunds, matlab anything starting with an ing will always take a singular auxiliary verb. Is, was, or has aega. Collective noun is also singular auxiliary verb. Like the pack of wolf is running. Okay? Anything that
Yeah.
is starting with that, what, or whether will also be singular auxiliary noun. Then sorry, auxiliary verb, why did I say noun? Then there is this so when you have either or neither nor, then the second subject takes precedence. Like if I say neither Pihu nor Ahana is going to school, because Ahana is singular, but neither Pihu nor her friends are going to school. This is plural. And neither her
Yeah.
friends nor Pihu is going to school, because Pihu is singular. The second subject takes precedence over the first and decides the fate of the auxiliary verb. Okay? Then there is, I think, tenses. Yeah. So I have that one also here.
Tenses is fine
Okay, I'll skip it then.
to identify them during your reading, while you're reading. So
Yeah, and basically like just a couple here, as you can see. Simple, past, present, future. And there's continuous or progressive, as they would like to call it. Present, perfect, and then perfect, progressive. Okay. And then I don't know what happened here. What is the next thing here? This would versus will. So anything which is certain to happen in the future but has not yet occurred will be you will use will. But then would is used in two conditions. One is a conditional statement, like for example, if people say, most people who think tomato is a vegetable would be surprised to learn it's actually a fruit. So to be surprised, you have to first of all think that it's a vegetable. If you think it's already a fruit, you won't be surprised, right?
yeah.
And for something, for recurring action in the past, so like every summer until I went away to college, I would visit my grandparents in Peru, right? So this is something that would actually help you. Like it's a recurring action because it's going to happen every year after year. And then okay, again, would have versus will have. So would have you use for past condition. Well, again, there's a conditional tense in the past, and will have you use for future, right? Like for example, if Washington Monument had been constructed. So again, there's a clause here, or there's a condition here. As originally designed, the national monument would have been anchored by a pantheon of 30 columns, right? So again, condition here.
Yeah.
And by the time the construction of Gift Tower is complete, workers will have spent, again, will have is for future, मतलब होने वाला है, it's not yet happened yet. So you use will have then okay, then there's word comparison. As goes with as, not only goes with but also, more than, less than, neither nor, either or. This faulty comparison, that means you can only compare singular objects to objects and things to things. If you read this sentence here, I'm comparing the music of the composer to a person, which I cannot. I can only compare music to music. So I'll use, then John Philip Sousa's music or the music of John Philip Sousa. Or better, if you're making singular comparison, you will use the word that of. Okay. And for plural comparison, you'll use the word those of. That of and those of. That's all you require. This is something that's one of the most asked questions in the last 3-4 SAT.
Yeah.
बहुत बार आया है.
Only.
Yeah, it's actually come a lot of times off late, so I'm expecting it might just come through. Singular, that of, plural, those of. Much versus much, fewer versus less. So I think anything that is quantifiable, you will use fewer and many. Anything that's non-quantifiable, you use less and much. Right? Anything you can count, basically. Then parallel structure. I think this is simple. If there's 3 things in a list, one is a noun, second is a noun, third has to be a noun. Like for example, if you read this, this is, you know, this has to be D. Why? Because this is creation. So accumulation goes with it. This parallel structure, pretty simple. If there is a parallel structure in multiple sentences, then also it has to be observed. For example, here it's talking about actor and then the reaction of the audience, then the singer and the reaction of the audience. So this also has to be a spectator, or dancer, and then the reaction of the audience. Spectator means audience. So again, parallelism must be observed. Then I think is dangling and misplaced modifier. Yeah. So dangling modifier means the verb is modifying the wrong noun. If you read the sentence, it sounds like the efficiency is being stretched from one end of the city to the other. But actually, it's not the efficiency, it's the tram system that stretches from one end of the city to the other.
Yeah.
Right? So dangling modifier. Misplaced modifier means when you know, the verb is placed in the wrong place. For example, an allergic reaction is usually characterized by symptoms that appear at most 2 hours after a person has consumed a particular food, such as itching and swelling. These are the symptoms, not the food that somebody's consumed.
Yeah.
Usually, misplaced modifiers are easier to place than dangling modifiers. And then I think this is the last thing, which is a relative pronoun. So if you're using, for people, you use the words who or whom. For things you use which, and for people and things you use whose and that. Usually the main difference between which and that is which will have a comma before it. That will never have a comma because of our THC,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times people get confused when to use who and when to use whom. It's simple, the M rule. That means if the answer to a question is who, him or her, you use whom. If the answer to a question is he or she, you use who. Like for example, who does this belong to? You'd say, if you'd say the answer is him. So who is incorrect? Whom is the correct one, right? And who is
Yeah.
coming with me? Then he is coming with me, not him. So again, that's how
Yeah.
you do him, who and who. And then there is when, where, and preposition plus which. When is used to refer to only places. Where is used to refer to only times and events. And preposition plus which can be used to replace both when and where. Okay. And this thing, whereby is usually by which or according to which. Usually these sentences are not so often on the exam, but if you get confused if it's correct or not, just try and replace this whereby by which or according to which and see if it's correct or not correct. If it makes sense, it's correct. Otherwise, you got to figure
Yeah.
out something else. Done. I've actually recorded this session. If you want, I'll send you the recording because I did it for some of my other students.
Yeah, I'll watch it
So
before.
that if, before, it's just, I don't think it's going to be a very long recording. Once I end the meeting, I would know.
Yeah.
Send you the recording. I'll put it on the drive and I'll make the link. Anybody who has it can see it, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of Perival talk before that. They'll have to skip that.
I cut that part of the video.
Uh-huh.
I started recording from the beginning. Then I realized, you know what? There's too much of Perival. We're not talking anything. So I cut that video. I stopped it and I restarted it. So they're two separate videos, hopefully. Or else I'll cut, like I'll, what do you call it? I'll edit it and then send it to you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All set?
Yeah.
Good luck. Just don't stress. Relax.
Relax, okay. No.
I think the more relaxed you are, see, I feel you score so much better when you're relaxed, right? Like when you come to the test center or you're doing it at your home, the reason you score is because you're relaxed, right? The moment that exam nerves kick in, or the moment that pressure kicks in, that oh my god, I need to score like a 1500 plus, that I feel you sort of chink under pressure. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Hopefully.
Okay?